y'all with the delegation. What the fuck? What did you say?
She was telling you to like look up and look down.
Oh my God.
I like how you slowly raised up with you're like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Y'all already know who it is. Y'all know where we at. It's your boy MP here as always with my man to the right. And the lady of the couch.
Candace Joy.
Videographer with the most. And guess what? We brought, I'm going to just say her name because she ain't got no mic. And who we brought back in the flash because she was like, hey, I got to drop these bars on y'all ass. Bree.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey,
That's a lot.
You seen that video of that dude on the porch? It was like a postman.
Yep.
Was like,
Yep.
Wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Mm-hmm. He was good. He was so good.
Hey, that was fun. Hey, that shit was cold. I know. I come with the heat, bro. I'm Euroing nigga.
All right.
Okay, Bree.
Let's reel it back in.
Give him an inch. Take it 80 miles.
That's what he said.
Fuck you, man. As always, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit the little button. What? Absolutely. Subscribe to the channel. So when y'all hit what? Make sure we say subscribed when y'all done. You know what I'm saying? And for those that are, you like, man, I ain't really trying to look at y'all, but I wouldn't hear y'all.
Right.
I'm stuck in traffic or shorty over here bullshitting, but I can hear
Where
y'all.
can
with
I
my
do
headphones
that at,
on.
Michael?
You can do it at Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud,
Right.
Google
And that's just a
Podcasts,
bit,
and
Spotify.
oh, woo, okay, Bree.
The guests don't usually come in, but I ain't mad at it.
She came in like the Bucket Boys. Okay, I hear you.
I don't know.
I don't know who the fuck is that, but I'm offended. I don't know.
You're offended by the Bucket
It was
Boys.
probably trying to
That's
be
the
a
devil
compliment,
talking.
just
All right. He said.
So thank you all. Ain't that what Christians do? You the devil. Oh no, that's an X. That's multiple cases.
Oh God.
What the fuck?
That's what
I don't
Exhibit
know.
does.
That's an exhibit.
X.
It's COVID. You got me coughing.
Oh, that's that COVID. You said you got COVID.
No,
They got
I said
you
it's
coughing?
COVID. You got me coughing. It's not. It's pandemic. You got me. It's like, why did you have to ruin that? Damn, that was a good ass joke. Like that's not Leo shit. Leo's.
Wait, why the fuck is it? It's that Leo shit. You know, like, why was that so demonstrative? No, because I gotta catch
Continue
up.
with your intro.
Fuck that. I gotta catch up. Yeah. So, so yes, you can see us and hear us on all them platforms. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all tuning in. And what?
Nothing. I'm just sorry.
He's like Amigos. This motherfucking Amigos. He just got
We should have
ad-libs.
did the first thing. We should have did the first part for the second part. And the second part for the first part.
Right.
Mm.
We used to do that.
We can do.
It's the same thing.
We can because they've been.
What's the
See what I'm
difference?
saying? See, we drinking.
Why you so high pitched?
Keep
Why you
on.
call him a bitch?
I said, why you so high pitched?
Oh, I thought she called him a bitch.
Hey, I was like, you call me a bitch?
Oh, we some bitches in there now.
I literally
Such
thought-
an instigate.
No, I
Dumb
literally
and
thought she was like, "Why you gotta be a
deflecting.
bitch?" I said,
Damn.
Exactly. I would let that.
Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic, guys.
So, wait, I got a belch. Hold on, somebody got to talk about y'all belch.
So as Michael belches, we're gonna get into some real good conversation.
Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit something.
I don't know the words either.
Yeah, a little bit something. But yeah, we're gonna talk about. Well, I don't want to ruin it because I don't want to ruin Michael's intro. But this will be part 2. Hopefully y'all tuned into the first part of this video where we talked about double standards in various forms. But yeah, this is the second part. We're gonna be talking about black businesses, black ownership specifically, and see where that takes us.
Are you okay?
Right, like.
I don't know what's going on with Michael. It seems like
Do
you
we
got.
have to- you seen the movie where they put the straw in the throat? Do I need to do that?
Is that wait? Was it
You
with
got it out?
Trach. That's what they call it.
You need to
what
trade?
movie with
You
the
good.
the 2 white women? The
I
big
got-
one.
That's a
And
lot
the-
of
and the-
movies.
the
I know what you're talking about.
It's a lot of movies.
very with McCarthy. Yeah,
something I
And
would say,
Sandra.
though.
yeah,
Sandy.
and she in the diner.
love that
yeah.
No, the funny thing is, that's something I would say. That was a good one.
That
You
was.
know that movie? You know it's a lot of movies.
Well, she said the 2 white women. You know, that's like majority
and the
of
big
the
one
movies.
that is still a lot of movies.
But,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I got COVID stepbrother hiccup. So
What? No. What?
That was a bad one.
Just let him have it.
I
can't ask around if that was a bad
That was
I'm
a bad
sorry. I'm still getting acquainted.
Like-
It's still.
That's why you an acquaintance.
This dude Mike really just told a joke and then looked around and said, that was a bad one.
That was bad. That didn't work.
Never seen some shit.
That didn't work.
We getting
Alright.
down to the nitty gritty.
I saw.
I'm
where-
getting down
I
to
saw
the real
his
you.
potential.
You saw the potential?
Yeah.
It came out. That shit died. All right.
But go ahead.
Don't apologize. We're gonna get there.
This
Maybe.
was
We
fun.
did sanitize before this episode.
We did spiritually and mentally and physically.
Spiritually. Hey, watch out with this. I'm just playing. I fuck with the spirit people.
I'm just saying,
Michael fucks with the spirit people. Okay, sorry. We have to get into
What?
it.
we were talking about sex at first, so that's why I'm like, that's a little odd. But now we can
We're not talking about that anymore.
Boom, let's
Wait,
see.
when were we talking about sex?
Before
But that's a
in the
double
first part.
standard.
How about this? I was talking about sex in my mind.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes
I'm
sense.
like,
Okay.
I said no sexual reference whatsoever.
So now you just
Hey,
got.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel soft as hell. I feel like a little bitch right now. Nigga talking to hiccups. G, I ain't even
Double
gonna lie.
standard. Men can
And
hiccup.
it was a very dainty hiccup.
It was.
too.
No, I
It
feel
was like-
soft as hell. What? Hey, a nigga legit got the hiccups, bro. This shit kind of scary.
Well, that's
bro.
gonna be interesting. You gotta hold your
That's kind
breath
of scaring me.
It's bad that you hiccup.
because we're he's hiccuping while we're podcasting.
Why?
Nigga body broke in. Nigga got a transformer hookup.
Oh, Jesus.
Autobots transform. Oh shit, it happened again. This is gonna be a horrible episode.
Now you just gotta stick with the script and
I
no
do.
You
jokes.
gotta hold your breath. Hold your breath. Ready? As long as you can go.
Now let's start.
Leo's a bitch.
So don't kill yourself, Michael. But remember, he had hiccups before and he chugged water. Remember when that happened?
There we go.
He just hiccuped.
I know, but it's starving for air, so you're supposed to flush it.
Flush it. Yeah.
That shit did. So basically, like Miss C said, man, this shit gay. I mean, I didn't say that. It's inappropriate.
Wow.
Okay, to have hiccups, everybody.
It's inappropriate.
we
I
got so
apologize.
far,
Hey,
but in the end, it
far
doesn't
to
really
go.
matter.
1 step forward, 9 steps back. It doesn't even matter. Damn.
Bro, look at like storybook hiccups too. They're not like regular people hiccups. They're like
Hiccup?
hiccups. They're
Hiccup? We just okay.
I need some more.
Get this man some
Don't
water.
it mean you got good luck if you got hiccups?
No,
That's what I
What?
heard.
Man,
I heard
fuck
that.
y'all, man.
That means
Thank you,
you
thank you,
ate
I heard
too
that.
much with water. I don't know.
You can get them a lot of ways,
on
but
my bird.
What?
that's good luck
What?
too.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, getting shit on my bird is good luck.
I would be trying to get shit on by birds.
No one
more.
tries to, but if you do,
I'm like,
don't be mad. Be like, all right, be mad, but then just be like, you know, it's good
I've
luck.
actually
No.
been on the receiving end of that.
You got shitted on?
Yeah.
By a bird, people. By a bird.
buy a bird.
I did. Wow, we're still going.
Thank
Yes,
you, Lieutenant
we
Dan.
are. I'm waiting on
The
Michael.
topic and the topic.
Yeah, just
is
chug
Mike
it.
don't care.
Chug it all.
We're talking about black ownership, everybody.
Okay.
Especially in these times. Okay, now he's gonna go. Now he's
Why did you do
Why?
that into the mic?
Now you just burped in all.
That ain't no mic check. What? And that's it, all for nothing.
And he's just right. Now he's doing it again.
I feel like y'all judging me right now.
He literally was
Everyone's judging you. Judging.
Alright, bro. Here we go. Okay, reason I brought up black ownership. Recently, Tyler Perry, by Forbes, said reported that he's a billionaire now. And as we all know, he opened up his studio in Atlanta, Tyler Perry Studios.
Right?
Where you can have hiccups for free.
Fuck you, man. Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. Got a sign on the expressway and everything. You feel me? So,
Can you have someone else explain?
nah, I'm gonna get this
Nah,
out.
I gotta hear this.
So,
I'm an asshole.
and we all know about Tyler Perry and his creations from his Medea plays and from his films and stuff like that. And
Right? Let him get it out.
Who you talk to? His
Otherwise, we ain't gonna
hiccups.
never get done.
See, I need a whole. I'm looking for new podcast co-hosts. These motherfuckers.
I'm here trying to support you. Listening.
Motherfuckers ain't
Keep
got
going.
my
Your
back.
body is against you. How you mad at everyone
going.
else?
Okay. Okay. So yes, and he's a billionaire, and we
You're
all
a great friend.
Oh my god, and we all know through his plays and his films who his target market is black people. Pushes everything black, and he's a billionaire from his own creation of his own company.
You got it.
Studio. So one of the things I did want to bring up as far as black ownership, one of the things that I've noticed that with ownership. Nigga crying. Okay.
If you just stop taking
Black
offense, it'd be
ownership.
better.
Okay. You know what? Let me ask. What is black ownership to you all? Black ownership. Now it sounds simple, like a black person owns something, but because like you think about this, if I own something, I'm a black owner. But if I hire like white people, Hispanic, Latinos, Asian, if I hire different diverse if I hire different ethnicities with my business. Was that still black ownership? Is that like a black business?
Those other people that you hired don't own the business.
Yeah.
Okay, but
now, is it the best version of black ownership? Not necessarily, because the idea is to hire other black people like other people do in their communities, Jewish communities, Hispanic communities, Asian communities, and so forth. You know, they usually hire within their communities. Whereas black people, the idea is for us to do the same. But, anytime black people own something, it's like it's painted as us against the system.
Yeah.
So there's a stigma. There's a stigma with us owning things, and it can come in many forms. It can come in land, owning property, owning your business, owning ideas, because they steal those too.
Because the thing is that I'm not the biggest fan of Tyler Perry and his productions content per se. Hold on. Shit.
It sounds like they're kind of leaving.
It does. I just want to say thank you for having the workout of my life.
Fuck you, man. Yes, I'm not the biggest supporter of his content creation, but when it comes, again, my behind the 8-ball theory with black people, because we are in a predominantly dominant 8-ball. 8-ball? No, 8-ball beer. Because we're in a predominantly dominant white society in America, a lot of the things we do unconditionally is we do to get the acceptance and acceptance. Just work with me now. Goddamn it.
I am. I'm still
Perception acceptance of white people. Acceptance. Perception acceptance. It's a motherfucking tongue twister, but let it roll, bro. Let it roll. Brittany is crying right now. Perception acceptance of white people. So you know what I'm saying? It's like when we, I think y'all seen what the fuck is the Bears? Is it Kenya or Kanye? Oh, Kenya. I don't know why I said
Kenya
Kanye.
Barris.
Kanye. Okay.
Kenya Barris.
Okay. On this show, Tyler Perry, and they were discussing hey, I just care about my black people. I just push for them and stuff like that. Which his group is a bit of the, because black people are diverse. It's they're not really. They ain't really worldly in things, but it's nothing against, what I'm saying, what his niche is. What Tyler Perry, most of what his content is towards.
You saying it's not worldly?
Most of people that say for instance
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I was just
when I said
clarifying.
Yeah, when I say
going.
worldly,
it's
like
keep going.
Okay.
I just want you to keep going.
Now my hiccups cleared up. Now I'm back. Let's get this motherfucker bolting. So yes, all right. So yeah. And so when a lot of times when black people create stuff, it's like how can we get like white people like it is accepting stuff like that for the most part, not saying everybody, you know what I'm saying? And so with him, I really appreciate him sticking to what he wanted.
Because now you're talking about two people.
I said Tyler Perry.
Well, you also mentioned Kenya
No,
Barris.
the only reason I brought him up because it was an episode on his show.
Got it.
On his show.
Okay.
So, but but the dynamic of their conversation was very powerful. Where Kenya was like, when he writes, he's like, oh, I'm thinking about how would white people say this? How would they look at this? You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't have a studio, but he owns his. I think he has his own production company. So like
Blackish is his show.
Right, so he has his own property of ownership, and like Tyler Perry has his own property of ownership of creations. But their thinking of their creations for black people is a lot what black people really go through when it's like, hey, I must care about my black people. I want what my people want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not caring about white people because at the end of the day, they don't understand it. They don't care to understand it. They never care to really understand it. Kenya Burris is like, hey, when I write, I try to include in some shape, form, or fashion white people to understand it and accept it and stuff like that. So my thing with black ownership, and y'all can chime in at any moment, as far as that's what I meant, like to you all, and that's why I brought up the example of like hiring other ethnicities.
That's two different things.
Right, and that's I just wanted to use those two, but I want you all's perception of it. Like, what about y'all? Oh, okay.
What you saying about black people hiring other people is different than what Kenya Barris is doing. He's just trying to make his stuff understandable.
No, I just use their conversation. It's not.
Yeah, like you're saying, like Tyler Perry makes content for black people. Kenya Barris was talking about using black people to make conversations that white people can be included.
And so, like how you said,
I think
with black
both are
ownership,
necessary.
Right. So that's why I'm saying. Right. Okay. So you said both are necessary because you was like, for true black ownership. Right, because when you said true black ownership, you said hiring black people and stuff like how Jews and stuff like that. Where some people, I'm one of those people to believe that, but I'm also understanding of a black person that ownership hiring other ethnicities because I'm like, they own it.
Yeah, I don't have. So let me clarify. I didn't say true black ownership. I said maybe what people consider more ideal.
Oh, okay.
The concept of black ownership. Hire. That's the idea of it, to hire more black people. Because black people need jobs. Hiring other folks, fine, whatever, it's still black owned. But, the idea is to hire other black people. Now, as far as what Kenya is doing versus what Tyler Perry is doing, I think both are a necessity. Because white people be out here fucking clueless. Does that mean everything has to be made for them? No. Does that mean that it's our responsibility to get them to have a clue? No. However, I'm not about to one of our problems as a black community is the gatekeeping thing. We feel like we have to do things one way. There's plenty of ways to the promised land, or for us to get some type of equity or representation in the media or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I don't think what either one of them is doing is necessarily wrong. I think they're just different, and I think they both have benefits. They both may have downfalls, but what is perfect in this plight? Not one thing.
So that is your.
That's my opinion.
Anybody?
Both needed.
I know Bree got something to say. She been waiting, biting at the bit over there.
Tyler Perry. Here's the thing. Tyler Perry doesn't have a writer's room. So months ago, he come out with he writes everything. He writes everything.
Again,
he
we talked about.
Didn't we talk about this?
Yeah. So my thing is with black ownership, with the black ideas, having it be one black person's is different than a bunch of black, okay. Because with the quarantine camp he has right now, where they're recording one whole series in 4 to 5 days. That's what he has going on right now. You know
how his stuff is already looks like it's rushed a lot of times.
Yeah.
And everyone knows his production is a little cheaper. He doesn't. Yeah. And part of the reason why he doesn't have a writer's room, he's like, well, I'm going to write it, I'm going to direct it, I'm going to produce it, I'm going to do this, that's fine. But he can't do that forever. So I think eventually he's going to hopefully get into having writer's room because, everyone can kind of agree that he needs them. And it's very apparent that he needs other writers because it's very kind of one track. There's not a lot of diversity in a lot of his movies.
But
he's creating jobs for people. He's
creating
silver
acting
lining.
Jobs. Yeah,
and acting and production jobs.
But
y'all know my thoughts.
Now again, it's not just Tyler Perry.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing though, I understand you have to do some sort of holding back to get to the point to like with I feel like a lot of the Medea movies were made for white people in mind to let them like find humor in it. But he found his success off those kind of movies, and now that he doesn't have a writer's room, he's not getting out of that. So it's like the content he does create, how black is it? How much is it of this stereotype? How much of it is it off this corny sense of humor?
Well, I mean, the thing is that like y'all know, like I said, my feelings on Tyler Perry, but recently with all this stuff that's coming out, with the writers' room included, what I always tell people to look at is he basically makes content for a very specific demographic of black people, and that demographic of black people are disenfranchised when it comes to content. So therefore, your view, your worldview of what you watch on television is already very limited. And you're already clued into shows that you quote unquote relate to, or only things that you see in your world. So therefore, when you see Meet the Browns, or when you see the Have and Have Nots, or whatever, the very Tyler Perry-esque shows, that is what you feel like watching, because that is exactly what he wants. That's exactly what he counts on. That's exactly what he counted on when he did plays. That's why his plays were always, if they feature one character, why? Not because he felt like, oh, this is something that people want to see, but because he found something that worked. And I've said it on this podcast many times. When I got that breakdown for, I believe it was actually for Have and Have Nots. And my agent sent me the breakdown, and it was like, it said, in bold letter, it said in caps, "We do not care about acting ability. Please just fine look." And like, it was on multiple characters like that, and not on all of them, which shows you that he knows what he's doing. It's not, oh, I'm giving everyone a chance who isn't an actor. It's, I want certain people to know how to act, and I want certain people I don't give a shit. So in my eyes, as a producer, that is literally the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be. So in my head, there's certain things that I love about him. I love his franchising. I love the fact that he always looks out for black businesses and tries to create more black businesses everywhere he goes, and more black business, I guess. But I feel like there's like you said, Bree, is just a catch-22, because if you're creating these quote unquote safe spaces for blacks, but behind the ruse of something that doesn't have our best interests at heart, then how good is it really? You know what I mean? Because if I'm coming and I say, hey kids, come on in this room, it's safe, but I'm secretly a pedophile, then how safe is it really? Right. You know what I mean? And so that's what I look at when it comes to our leaders. I look at works. I don't look at what you say you're gonna do and all this stuff. Like, through the years, Oprah has said things, this person said things, all these people, and I look at actions. One of my favorites, I've had to come to reckoning with one of my favorite people in Jay-Z, to be like, there's some things that I don't necessarily like that you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to business. And so it's like, why do we hold different, standards for certain people when it comes to the people like Tyler Perry and or the Oprah, and like completely just like blind eye to the negative because of all this positive that we kind of like that they're doing, but it's like, but all this other stuff that they kind of set us back when it comes to black ownership. Yes, they're preaching black ownership, but they're preaching one type of black ownership. It's like black ownership in the eyes of white ownership. It's like, that's the only ownership that I like you guys to have, not real black ownership, so not black ownership that's like, the black ownership that I want is the black ownership that white ownership hates. Yeah, that's the black, because that's the real black.
That was my next point.
You know what I'm saying?
The Carmichael show.
Yeah,
the Carmichael
corporate. Like just basically where all the white men kind of dominate and have their boys club and don't let anyone in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, it becomes loaded, and we are addicted to celebrities and like all the people that we kind of. It's not scholars anymore. It's not people, even though those people exist, but, we're so conflated and just, we're emotional and we just like pandering. And so whoever panders to us the best is who is going to be our leader. You know what I'm saying? Even though they ain't shit. And no one studies anymore. No one is a scholar that's like regular. And the scholars, the scholars that do exist, those aren't the people that are popular, or you know what I'm saying?
But no, I'm glad when you ended your point as far as white perception, because that was my big thing as far as when we become owners.
Like what you said, what it looked like.
What is like? Okay, my thing, like when people like, I'm very pro black. Like if you know me, I'm a black motherfucker. Motherfuckers don't be knowing that shit, but then when it comes to certain things, like when people say, "Oh, what I joke about and I laugh about with black people," and I understand their anger towards me and stuff, but I always tell them, I think with black, like I don't care the white perception. From my experiences being around these people, they don't care. And if they do care, it's enjoyment, it's entertainment. And I'm not saying there are not genuine. Yeah, it's not genuine. And I'm not saying there are not white people that genuinely do care about the being of black people from a human standpoint, mental, all of that. But for the most part, through history, they don't care.
Yeah.
And so therefore, when I operate, I understand I'm in a white man's world. I have to move a certain way. But I'm black. But I'm thinking I'm just around black people.
I ain't worried about what y'all worried about.
I'm just around black people. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'll catch myself at work. I'll be saying stuff, and they be like, "Wow," I'm like, I'll be forgetting, but I'm like, that's how I am.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, and I refuse, and I understand even in being an actor in the industry, it's certain ways, and I'm like, I figure out a way to finish because I'm like, I refuse to sit here and try to accommodate and try to make a presence or oppression on people whose impression is already a negative stigma.
And it's and their perception of you is based off of their comfort only.
Correct.
So y'all know who Charity Crawford is?
No.
He's like I don't know. He be like talking on Instagram like about true shit. But he put it like, you know, if every black person, because you know it's a stigma with, he basically compared, he said the world looks at black people, he put it like a spider and a butterfly. The world look at black people like a spider versus a butterfly. Like you see a spider, it's like, you know, even black people, like, you know, your mom looking out the window, who them niggas over there standing outside? They could be talking about quantum physics, but have on, you know, bagging jeans and a shirt, and you know, even black people are like, what are they doing over there? And that's just the automatic. That's just how we are conditioned. Versus, you know, a butterfly. Your automatic thing isn't to kill it. Your automatic thing is to, like, you know, be patient with it or set it free or whatever the case may be. So until we all stop looking at black people as spiders, i.e. changing the perception. So, like, it's okay for us to, like, for instance, that being considered an unprofessional hairstyle or this being considered an unprofessional hairstyle versus, like, straightened hair. Changing that perception by doing it, by wearing that to professional settings or wearing what they deem as, you know, something a certain way when black people wear it. Let that be a norm so that when a black person walks in to something with chains and this and that, he's not looked at a certain way. That's just an intelligent black man, because that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so until we are comfortable with not having to code switch and assimilate and try to please whitey all the time and just be our fucking self, then maybe we can start getting somewhere. But black people are too afraid of black people themselves.
I have a point to piggyback off that. It's actually bringing back an old point from episodes past that recently resurfaced. We also have to start being okay with not seeking black ownership in the approval of white spaces.
It's like
and
it's like in our DNA.
And that being said, it's like what's happening right now with, I don't know if you guys saw recently, the new X-Men game features a Storm that is very we'll just say light skin,
yeah.
There's a whole thread about that.
And so if you remember, I would say maybe about a year ago ish, I had a topic where I brought up about how black people were so excited that the trend of changing white characters to black actors was happening. And if you remember, I said it. I said people are gonna hate me right now for what I say, because it's gonna sound very like ableist, very colorist, and all that. But I said it's going to be worse for us in the long run because they are going to take putting Michael
All
Clark
Lives
Duncan,
Matter
putting Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. We say, oh yay, and putting Chloe as Little Mermaid. We say, oh yay, but they're looking at that and they're going, okay, watch when we turn Blade into John Leguizamo. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against John Leguizamo, but that's not the character. Just like those characters aren't the character. And we have to start remembering that we have our own. We have our own characters. Our ownership is there. All of that stuff, the resources are there. Black Panther is not a character that's new.
Yeah.
It is a character that was out in the 60s.
We have enough
Luke
to do our own.
Started in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These characters, Miles Morales is a 20-year-old character. As much as we look at it and say, oh my gosh, this is new, Miles Morales is nearly a 20-year-old character. And that's a new character. That's considered new. Let alone the Peter Parkers and stuff of the world. But when we look at black characters, we for some reason think none exists. And
well,
we think
there's why.
Of course.
We're not. So as soon as we know.
But my thing is, stop being okay. Stop.
Yeah.
My thing is if we are so good with refusing bad treatment on sets, we gotten to the point. John Boyega doing such a great job doing the lighting on what Disney did. When you have that kind of confidence, then have the confidence to say no. When you get that role that you know should have been a black Jedi, and this is not against John because that situation was very special and they changed it up on him. But there are certain people that did not happen to. And when you know that this character is not going to pan out how you thought it was, then maybe you should probably, maybe you should probably think of the future and think this is not going to go the way that I thought. And I can then take this power that they're trying to give me to be this character and say, no, I'll just be this person. No, make me this movie instead. If you want me to be this guy, no, let's just do this. It happens. We did it. You know what I'm saying? We've done it before. So I know we got not a lot of time, but when it comes to black ownership, I just feel like we're missing the point. We're getting so hard up on taking white spaces and thinking that that's black ownership when we had our own. It's like, I don't want to go own Europe when I had Africa.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing with everything right now.
But that comes,
like, I just want to take this and take this. But
that
again,
comes from us not, them burning down everything.
I was about to say, it's conditioning from what they did.
Look at Oklahoma, look at Black Wall Street. As soon as we create our own, they either steal it or fuck it up.
We don't even know that we inherited that sort of I need to go command and conquer, from
your oppressor.
We became our oppressors to where we're not okay with the land that we could own fair and square. We got to go take this. And it's like, but we got all this richness, and when we see what happens when we actually big up our characters, when we make Black Panther and go see Black Panther, it's a billionaire franchise, $1 billion franchise, and it's something that is supposed to be loved for years and years to come. So it's not like the support can't be there. It's not like that it can't be successful, but we have to stop being obsessed with being like, I got yours. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're hit with every single day is, I got yours, black man. I got yours, black woman. So it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Stay over there. Don't worry about it. This is my trend. We got TikTokers on there literally stealing Kylie Jenner, stealing songs, clothes, whatever you want.
Y'all saw the girl that stole Ashanti song, claimed it as her own. No,
and then tried to switch it up and be like, oh, it's a cover.
You never said
this is my song. And that's what I mean, is that now that we've given them that space, now the flip side is happening. And now everybody's like, oh my God, what's happening? No, we gave them that leeway. And that's what I meant by closing ourselves off to that. It wasn't in a sense of, I don't believe black actors deserve those roles or none of that. We
can create our own.
It was never
we have
about
our
that.
own.
It's that I don't want that handout.
Yeah,
we've had these handouts that we're complaining about these.
And
handouts.
really, it's pandering at the core of it.
Exactly.
These.
Thank you so much.
Let's just give them Ariel. Let's just give it like.
Of course. And they know it.
Even though we love to see, we're always going to love to see this representation. But I think that's another thing that black people definitely, as a whole, need to consider more seriously instead of shying away from it, like creating unapologetically our own whatever, even though we know that all the road, even though we know it's going to be 10 times harder, we're going to have to work 10 times harder, we're going to get all these different roadblocks that, you know, our white counterparts won't get in any area of life, in whatever area that we're trying to own. We're all gonna, I feel like that's something that's known, but I feel like that's something that Black people are afraid of.
Yeah, of course, because then it means, number one, it actually means working hard to get through the door, which we already know we face resistance on. And a lot of Black people are just fed up and have given up. And I get that. And I'm not
So
going
jaded.
I'm not going against the people who have just said, you know what, I've done this, I've tried. We know that. And I've been one of those people. So I'm not talking about those people. What I'm talking about is those people who preach for, equality, and then at the very slightest handout, I want to jump there. And it's like you are literally setting us back 3 steps every time that you are saying this is okay. Because, again, nothing against these actors who choose these things, but I always, in my head, I'm like, if I was given that choice, in my head, number one, I don't want to live up to the expectation of America, who has already been conditioned for these roles. That's number one. Now, number one, and then number two, if you are a fearless, person who's like, I'm just switching it, okay, cool. And you have to be ready for the ridicule as well, where it doesn't matter whether or not you do a good job, simply because you are Black, right? Simply because you are Black. And it's like, why am I subjecting myself to this for a white character? For a character that was written white, for white people, most likely to appeal to white people, and nothing against white people.
They can make,
but
what's the name from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Black, because he was originally Black.
Right. There you go. So all of these things is like it's just, for me, Black ownership right now is taking on so many different forms because of the situation we're being put in. Not only even in this pandemic. I'm not even talking about social justice. I'm talking about even pandemic adding to that. We are now redefining what it means to actually have Black ownership, because you have, now blog spots turning into actual publications simply because in a pandemic, there are no newspapers. There is no physicality. So now the gossips of the world is your New York Times, and that's how things are switching, where it's like this Black owned space that was seen as minuscule or mediocre is now something that's a very in demand business of something that's number one. I even look at the girl who opened the do-rag shop just recently. I forgot her name was on Twitter.
I forgot. I know that Demetrius,
a Tree of Lions, I think, right?
He
Demetrius was
there,
at the shop. You look at things like that, and I look at it and I say that probably would not have happened had we not been in the space that we're in right now. And again, nothing against her, not to say that she had a handout, but it's very fortunate that we are all now in a space where Black ownership is literally whatever I fucking want it to be. And whether or not as it should be, because that's exactly what it is for everybody else. So that for me is, let's even the playing field and really go forward and say, I'm not comfortable with having other things claimed as my own. I want to build from the ground up just like everybody else and have generational wealth drip down to me, because if you go take that character, that doesn't drip down to you. That drip downs to another person that has no sort of ties to you whatsoever. But build something from ground up, and now that is true ownership.
I feel like Bree got something to say. She been holding on.
Oh, no.
Like she got to piss.
I do got to pee. But, no, okay. Well, I have don't have time for it. We could have another episode, but.
Oh, we can definitely get you back on. Y'all want her back on? They ain't said nothing yet. We'll wait.
But no, okay. So the way I was raised very differently. I'm mixed. I was raised by my white mom, but I was raised in an all-white family. My dad, he's very Black, but he was in the military. Way shit happened. He wasn't around, so I didn't know my Black family. I was very white. I was raised to be white growing up, and it put me in the space to have
to be white.
To be white. Like, I was the exception, pretty much. So, like, you think, like, with being in white spaces, all that kind of shit, you think that being in white spaces are going to make them understand. No. They're going to understand what they want to understand. Because I used to I was raised thinking, oh, I'm mixed, I'm Black. Well, I didn't think I was Black back then. I was like, I'm mixed, they're going to learn to love black people because they have someone in their family that is black. No. So there's a lot of shit that we tell black people they need to do that, like, growing up in a white family, no. Don't, like, there, all the pandering, there's so much. Black people need to do shit for black people, not worry about what white people think. But black people need to support black people, because all the shit, the Kylie Jenners, all that shit that they steal from black people is because black people support that. And it's an ugly fact, and it sounds bad. A light-skinned mixed girl is saying that, like, black people need to do this, this, and
No, it
that.
don't. I'm glad. I'm
sounds
listening.
because honestly, it's that's not on brand. You usually hear from light-skinned mixed girls the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's good that you're saying. It's not
I'm
bad
learning
that you're
something.
saying that. It's good that you're saying that, because you know, a lot of times when I hear, like, you know, mixed girls are like, especially like, but you from the South, so I mean that might be a little bit different. But the girls out here, you know, they clueless. You know what I'm saying? They don't fucking know.
I was raised around white people, and I had that dichotomy of where it's like, okay, I'm raised with white privilege because I was around so many white people that they, even in systematic, like, ways, they protect me from a lot. You know, my family they grew up racing race cars. I was at the racetrack every Saturday. Nice. That's all white people. But because I was with a white family, I was protected from so much. Had any of you went by yourselves or with your families, I was protected from so much, even if it was in the sense where there was always Confederate flags around me, but the way that I was raised to look at those flags, it protected me from a lot of shit, like trauma. I mean, I grew up very traumatically, but I was protected from a lot that y'all would have experienced. So I have that white privilege, then I have mixed privilege, then I have light skin privilege. But being with a white family, raised around a white family, seeing my stepdad got 3 DUIs. If a black person... 3 DUI, yeah. And
sorry.
he was able to stay supervisor of his company, making $1,000 a week.
That would never happen.
His boss would bail him out. Had my black dad, has a Harvard education, has an Alabama education, all that shit, makes millions of dollars. Had he had done that once, at that time where he maybe could not have afforded to get out, he would not be out right now. He would be in there still because he couldn't afford to get out from the first time. If he got in there a second time, that's prison.
You know what's crazy? Sorry to cut you, but to piggyback really quickly, I know we gotta go. But off that, I think another thing to point out with this topic is black people who also fetishize. In your situation, I love that you're in your situation and you have the mindset that you have, because I know people who are in your situation who have a mixed family and almost fetishize. How do you say that? Fetishize. That's so weird. Fetishize about the black plight.
Yeah.
And overdo it to the point of,
that shit is
it's
so
like,
lame.
okay,
I
here's the
hate
thing. It's like, trust me, love your blackness. Trust me. But when I get to the point where I know you were raised a certain way, or I know your family has certain values, it just gets to be to the point where I'm just like, I gotta call you out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're fetishizing the parts that white people want to see. All
You're
the
fetishizing
bad,
the stereotype.
all the stereotypes.
But also there's a point of certain people who feel like I need to tie myself to that so that I don't seem like the evil, mixed person. Because that's a lot of times.
At first, that's how I was.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to learn your blackness. Yeah. Blackness is so diverse to begin with. Blackness has nerds. Blackness has all this shit in it, and I was so many things before that. Like, I was gaming since I was 5. I thought I was white back then. Right. You know, all that kind of shit. Like, all these different identities I had, I would tie that to whiteness. So whenever it came to, I call it my coming to black Jesus moment. So that was when I moved out of South Georgia, and I went to UGA in like 2015. That's 5 years ago. I know I came a long way. But anyways, like, there was a period of time where I was like, because when you're in South Georgia, if you are not around black people in the sense that you're in a intimate setting, what you know about them is from TV. Yeah. So all the shit we're talking about, what you see on TV, now think about your local news. White people be committing all these crimes just as much, if not more, than black people. But if you are if you're in South Georgia and you're looking at the local news, it's going to be nothing but black faces. Yeah. So no matter where I looked, the only representation I had of people who looked like me were bad. And so when I had that moment where it's like, damn, okay, well, I am black. I can't run away from that. I can't relax my hair out of that. I can't stay out of the way. I can't SPF 100 out of that. Like, I had to find a way to find my blackness,
Right.
but it was so hard to find a way that it was genuine. And then, like, I tried to get rid of the accent that keeps peeping through.
Man,
but then,
let
like,
that
it came to
accent
the point
roll
where it was
good.
like,
Black
black
people are just
black
like
is
you.
so
Please keep that.
I
fucking
went to so
diverse.
many
Yeah,
people.
have
I
to
went
keep
to
that
Black
to
is so
school
diverse.
with so many people like you.
Yeah, I was like, I can just be myself.
Yeah.
it's okay.
Let it happen naturally. Because if I'm not trying to be white, if I'm not trying to be black, I'm gonna be myself. And there's so many of myselves in blackness. Like, there's so much blackness
And
in
the
me.
opposite to that would be so a motherfucker like me in the city. No, I'm gonna just keep it a buck in the
It's
city,
just the way you
Chicago.
said it.
I'm just saying,
I
like a
understand,
motherfucker like
yeah.
me in the city, Chicago, growing up. I see you like I went to Alabama A&M, and I see you trying to talk this black shit. I'll be like, shorty, light skin as hell. She ain't been through no shit.
I
Like,
told her.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was like, when they
she
hear my
don't-
voice, they're gonna be like,
She don't know no shit. Like, no, if I was like fresh out of the crib coming in and
Yeah.
I'm listening to you talk, like, shorty got light skin, crinkly hand, shit like that. Like, shorty ain't finna what she know about it. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
oh, I'm with the movement. Shorty, you ain't out here in these streets like because I'm looking at the skin color.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shorty, you ain't out here like getting pulled over just for like walking out the candy
Yeah.
store. You know what I'm saying? You not being chastised. I don't see your skin in my neighborhood. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? If I see you,
Y'all got light skinned people in Chicago?
yo, but if I see her in like Hyde
Plenty.
Park.
yeah.
I know.
No, I do. But see,
But
I
you
see,
can be seeing me like
but
I'm
I'ma
not going through what
but
you're
see,
going through.
You know how that's our
exactly,
diversity,
yeah.
but it's my not understanding
Yeah.
of accepting our diversity in
Yeah.
a positive manner. I see you like a privileged light skinned
Yeah.
girl, so it's like we ain't getting the same treatment. I'm gonna look at her mostly towards the white side because she's light skinned. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's almost and that's what. And just to wrap it up, so we can get up out of here. I want to get into the point of stereotypes, but that is the dynamic of with black people and the imagery where our image has been tainted and destroyed for so long that in our community we have, for the most part, a one-minded perception depending on where we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be more like this South Central type. You'll probably be more the Ladera Height type. You know what I'm saying? And we'll have such a strong view about each other because of what we see on television, but we're the same people with just two different backgrounds. We had no control how our parents decided to raise us or anything like that, or how our grandparents raised our parents and so on, and that whole lineage and stuff like that. So, like, what was my point? Yeah. So, like, to the point where we go with this stereotype. One thing I hate about stereotype is because that is the word is used to go with white people perception.
Yeah.
Because if say for instance black people, if we black people like chicken, if it's just black people, we ain't looking at that no stereotype. That's a family tradition. That is a cultural thing
Yeah.
that we accept.
But white people like chicken too.
Yes,
and that's
that
why
is.
that particular
but see,
stereotype
white
is
people
stupid. So do Asian people.
but it's stupid. But see, white people flip it and put it on the percept from early days
Yeah,
with
it's
watermelon.
all just in
It's-
who wrote
it's- right
the book.
So white
subjective.
people.
That's it. Who
Decide
wrote
to
the
push
book
that
is
narrative
exactly what you
of
should ask yourself.
of it being a negative stereotype per se than the positivity that we just like that shit.
But
Yeah,
we're also
all of those
we're
stereotypes that you see were written by white people to
Right.
literally disenfranchise black people. You can go as far back as the 50s to see literal pictures drawn on ads for
you can go
watermelon
farther.
where you feature
You go
like
Christianity.
you know
You can
sort
go
of
later
Asian,
than that,
fucking
too.
Christianity.
You can go
Black
later than that.
Oh, later than
Christianity.
that, earlier than
Definitely
that,
Christianity.
whatever. But that time was when it was rampant to show, like, oh yeah, we're gonna show this black person on this disrespectful image.
But we're just so
of a
used
black
to, and
person.
we're also just so used to like them telling us what we are. We're so used to being told that we're only supposed to be this way or
Right.
this way, and
Yes.
that's either dark or white proximity.
Study
You know what I'm
slave
saying?
religion. Slave religion.
And so
Say
that
what?
Study,
Slave
I'm sorry.
religion.
Study slave religion, and they use Christianity.
Oh, I went to HBCU. Girl.
They
I went to HBCU.
that's like even from then they use the Bible to literally teach you to think their way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
They kept you from
absolutely.
reading to be able to make you think their way. You know what I mean?
Which is
Yeah,
that's
which
a
is
real
why
thing.
slaves
Yeah.
could
It
not
still
read but
happens.
could quote the Bible and sing
Exactly.
scripture.
They could not hold a
Wow.
Bible while they were.
Can't
No,
pronunciate
yeah.
cat, but man, you can quote Psalms 5:11, can't you?
Hey, this was
Wow.
a
You
good
keep
conversation.
something
I
from
appreciate
a
that. I appreciate
nigga
that.
put
Black
Yeah.
ownership. Hey, Paul, like, sorry. Before we go out, that one, big one, religion, black ownership. That's a big one right there.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay. Own your faith. Don't just
Own
pick
your
up the book
spirituality.
and think that because you went to church and these white people got you, you know, clapping and being like, "Oh, be Adventist or whatever." I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, no, because
I don't know.
Because here's the thing. I just had a encounter with somebody recently, and it was just like really odd. And it was just like they were just like, you don't go to church, and it was just like really weird. Like it was like a
No.
requirement.
Who does?
Oh yeah.
And
I
to
mean, I know a
be-
lot of people
to be
who
a
still
person.
do and
I do.
still
Oh, yeah.
judge you when you don't. Like,
You know.
church ain't for everybody.
And the thing is
and
that-
I ain't judging you if you. I'm not judging you that you go. So why in the
I
world?
was one of
are
the
you
biggest.
on my
Mike can
case?
tell you when Mike first met me, I was literally sitting him down like, "Hey, bro, I want to read the Bible with you." Like that.
No.
Ask him.
I'm like,
So-
bro, you ain't
so-
finna feel baptized.
right.
You ain't finna bamboozle me with them
So,
words.
and here's the thing. What the thing is I wasn't like that. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
evangelist like
Yeah.
that. But it was more. It was one of those things
was
where
in
I
it.
definitely
Yeah.
I just had good faith.
And they
you
took you
know,
to that
with
big
it.
ass
But
church.
but right. But I had to literally, and it's crazy how so many people can see the dismantling of their faith in front of
Oh,
them
it's
and
crumbling.
not
Yes.
care. And not
Yes.
care.
But
and
no, but
had to
some
look
people-
at it, and I'm like,
Yeah, we gotta
and I
wrap
did
this
it
up.
in a
That's the
personal.
biggest thing
Yeah,
in
I
their
did it
life
on a
is it
personal
crumbling in
level.
front of
Even
them.
it was just that church. It wasn't even I saw my faith in a bigger picture. It was just
Yeah.
that church, and I
Yeah.
saw that church crumbling. I was like, what am I doing? And now I see the bigger picture. I'm like, thank God.
Thank God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
All
'Cause I'm
puns.
like,
Thank
right.
God.
Because you
Thanks
know,
God for getting me out of this man-made
and
shit.
it's just really
you.
making sure you own your faith as far as what you want, what your path
Own
is.
yourself,
'Cause,
black people.
man,
That's
That's
what
the
black
most
ownership is.
important.
Black ownership is owning
Listen,
yourself.
I
your
saw-
identity,
control of
all that
their
shit.
own body.
I saw a post, cause you know, Erica Badu was Tiana Taylor's doula. And so she made a post of like, you know, these affirmations of these shirts. It was like all positive and whatever. Y'all should have seen these comments. Witchcraft and it was literally
While
nothing.
you over there
it was
taking the blood
literally
of Jesus.
right. I was like, it was literally nothing
That's a
negative.
ritual,
Like it
dummies.
was literally all positive affirmations on the shirts and like crystals and like you know, like something to put on the baby like right after they're born,
Yeah.
so that. Like all positive shit, and they literally was like, "This is creepy," and da da da. I'm like, y'all sound fucking.
While every
crazy.
week you sitting there eating crackers.
eating the
in
crack.
name
I'm
of
like,
Jesus.
what do y'all think
And
the blood
fucking
of Christ and the body
Ocean
of
spray
Christ is?
cran grape
Bro, I
juice and
had
shit.
to really take a step back and look at how many. And it's crazy because
Exorcisms
you let my
and all,
mom
like-
tell it. You let and that's the real thing that I was like, wow.
Okay,
Devout.
I don't want to cut you off,
Yes.
but we gotta say
We
that.
gotta
for
go.
another
We
time. We gotta
gotta
go.
go.
We
We
gotta
gotta
go,
go.
guys.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
For the
We gotta
next
say
one.
We're gonna
say
say
this.
this. We're gonna
I
talk
like that
about
topic.
the bamboozlement of religion.
Black faith.
I'm flying
Black
back out
faith.
for this one.
Black. We gotta bring our mulatto
I like
queen back.
Cause I won't be here.
Don't say that.
I just say, I love you, bro. I love you. Bro. But we gotta get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to get too long with it. Also, I got a leak. You feel me in that
I gotta
TT.
pee
Couple
too.
people gotta pee.
I had a piece
Yeah.
of bed.
So
I'm
thank
sorry.
y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. You know what I'm saying? Again, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button so y'all be subscribed to the page. You know what I'm saying? Also be on the lookout for other content on the page because we gonna probably see us in other stuff. I might include Bree because Bree got some
Other
bars
stuff.
over there. Other stuff. You feel me? Hey man, Uneducated Genius is a black owned future black owned company. Just keep that on your
Future black owned.
I was
so
about
it's
to
not
say,
black
isn't it
owned
already?
currently.
I haven't filed, the necessary.
All
but
right.
it's
She
black.
said I ain't got
it's
the
black
LLC
owned. It's
yet.
I say it's black.
Oh yeah, it is. It's
By
black
you.
owned. God damn it.
It's owned by
There
you.
we go.
It's owned by you. There you go.
Hey.
So
Just send something in the mail to yourself.
that's right. God damn
There
it,
you
send it to
go.
your goddamn self. What I was going to say. Yeah, so thank y'all for watching. As always,
Brittany's
make
over
sure
there
you-
watching us like, what is happening?
It's all crumbling in front of me.
As
Hot
always,
butter biscuit legs.
as always, it's your boy MP here with the man to the right
Mr. Gray.
and the lady of the couch.
Candace Joy.
Videographer with the most. Baby! And our special guest. We gotta bring her back. I would put on, but our payroll pretty slim right now due to the
Call her
pandemic.
Bree to
All
Bree.
right.
And,
Chef Boyardee, 2 eyes. My Cash App, Chef Boyardee, 1 eye.
damn.
Fuck you,
Hey,
pay
you
me.
cooking
Put
for
me on a
Hey, you cooking for
payroll.
the Cash App though? You cooking for the Cash App? I like cookies.
All right, no.
And,
All right,
you don't
you're on a
cook?
payroll. I'm not.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm unemployed.
damn.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm kidding. I am, but
That's what I'm
Hey,
saying.
we
I was
finna
like-
get up out of here, guys. Thank you all. Have a good morning, noon, afternoon, evening, whenever y'all checking us out. We out of here. Bye.
Holla.